Good morning to everybody. Thank you for taking the time to be here with us today. I'm Joe Haynes from CASO Document Management, and this is our webinar presentation for scanning for schools. Now, what we're going to do today is kind of a very generic overview of why schools need to digitize their student records and other files, and how CASO can help, but we're going to try to remain very neutral so that is not just a sales presentation, and that is it is as informative as it can be. Okay, so we're going to go through here and get started. Our meeting overview. We'll go through, this is our quick introduction, then we'll talk about FERPA compliance. Okay, and then we'll go through the benefits of outsourcing your scanning instead of doing it yourself. Why choose CASO document management? Some details of the processes that are involved in digitization, and then document management as a whole. Then we'll go through next steps. Now, FERPA is the Family Educational Rights and Privacy Act. That is a federal law that has been put in place. Think of it as HIPAA for student records. And what it does is protects private information for students and the disclosure of that information that needs to be very, very controlled. And we are in a situation where FERPA is in relative terms rather new, and there's going to be some point in time where some litigation will happen and FERPA will become a hot topic across the US. This is what happens with every time there are government regulations and people figure out that they can litigate based on non-compliance with those regulations. Now, there's a way to really avoid any kind of FERPA violations and keep yourself in the clear as a public school district, as a private school, or as a higher education organization, or even as a charter school. Okay, the document management systems or enterprise content management, and I'm going to use the term ECM a lot. That's just short for enterprise content management. That is where you have a software system that is either located on premises. We'll use the term on-prem for that quite a bit, where the software literally runs on a server at your organization's headquarters, or cloud-based, which seems to be the trend and where everyone seems to be migrating to, where the software is accessed from anywhere in the world, generally through a browser, and the same securities are available through that. Okay, there are advantages to both. However, as I said, the trend seems to be following cloud nowadays. We can get any record up there on the cloud or into your on-prem system. And these systems can manage everything from student records. We do a tremendous amount of work with SPED departments, with cumulative files, graduated student records, and so on. We can also handle, these systems can take on all of the financials for a district or for a school. All of the HR departments, those are generally very, very widely used among our education customers. So we can put everything into this system and we can control, number one, the access. Security is the biggest issue. The second biggest issue is speed. We can get things that used to take an hour, 2 hours, a day or two to find and have them at your fingertips with a couple of mouse clicks and a quick search. Okay. We have existing hardware. It can be used with any of these systems generally, even down to the servers if they're used in an on-premise system. Okay, so you don't have to go out and buy a bunch of new equipment just to be involved with digitizing your records. There are brand new and wonderful basic AI programs that are in place to help kind of extract the information that we get when we do the digitization of the records, okay? So that you can have things labeled and very easy to find with a quick search, okay? If you have remote staff, this really brings things, this has really come to the forefront lately, of course, because of the pandemic. And many of us have just adjusted to life as remote workers. and remote staff can reach these records without any flaws in the security whatsoever. Nothing is to be left open or out in the wind, so to speak. Student records can be audited, and these trails are created on an automatic basis. You do not have to do anything as a system administrator within a school or a director within a school. These audit trails are created, and you can see exactly who accessed what document, what time they accessed it, what was done with that document. So these trails create an extra layer of security for us, where if something happens, we will have proof as the organization in question as to what happened and who did what. Okay. Routing, managing, and reviewing can automatically be done nowadays through the use of workflows. And workflows are easily added as another modular layer on top of most electronic content management systems. Very, very efficient. It stops the shuffling of paper throughout an organization and creates an almost immediate flow. And people would just get to work in the morning, hop on, they can see their queue of things that they have to review or approve or deny for that day's work. All of those actions are, of course, tracked and audited, and you can tell exactly what was done at any given time or where a particular document is within the system. This puts a screeching halt to it was lost in the shuffle, it fell through the cracks, and we do not know where that application is, we do not know where that form is that you submitted. That is gone with automated workflow. We also have the ability now to create a lot of forms that people would need to use within an educational system that are on paper. We can get those online now. We can have those delivered over the web securely to parents, to vendors, to anybody outside the system as well as within the system. We can even put things like this onto a kiosk format, literally in the lobby of district headquarters. That can be done very easily. Forms can be filled out, submitted, and automatically placed into the workflow for processing as your organization needs them processed. Okay. The records can be shared on an almost immediate basis, of course, with all the tracking involved with that. Um, Information can be given out on a 24/7, 365 basis if you need to. Staff time and document storage is completely, well, not completely eliminated, but document storage is greatly eliminated and staff time is massively reduced in the use of this. Now, we can secure the student records and save literally a ton of money. Real estate has value to it, and records rooms can. I have literally cleared those out before in the past. So, if you can reduce this and keep yourself in compliance with all of the FERPA regulations, uh, then a document management system pays for itself very, very quickly. Speaking of quickly, pulling up a record that a parent or a former student needs. Let's say you have a graduated student who needs some records for an employment situation. Well, these records can be gotten to that particular student in a matter of minutes instead of a matter of days. Funds can be saved because we are not spending the staff time, which does have a soft cost to it, and we're not spending the storage space, which could be used for something else that is productive, in just boxes of files or rows and rows of file cabinets. Those can go away. Documents can be safe from disaster. We cannot stop the tornado coming or the flood or the fire happening. Cyber criminals have attacked many educational entities with their ransomware lately. We have, as a company, gone in and helped out a couple of districts that have been in a tough situation because of these things. So we can secure everything very easily from this, and recovery from horrible situations like that, which God forbid will never happen, is relatively quick and painless. The protection of the student information is automatic. Once it is set up, everything is very easily maintained from there. Security is the number one priority of what we manage and what every company who is a valid partner will manage for your records. The integration with other systems is very important because if you're using a system to run your district and you need to access documents in relation to what you're looking at in your main application screen, then these systems will allow for kind of a point and click basis to pull up all the documents. And what that is, that's called image enabling. And what that does is basically, if I'm an administrator and I'm a registrar and I need records on Joe Haynes, I can be looking up his records within my main system and just click a button. And that button will bring up all of the scanned files that pertain to Joe Haynes' student records. And I'll have those available to view and see. This maintains the security and it keeps the ability for people to only view the documents that they should be viewing and do with those documents what they have permission to do. Okay. Automatic audit trails, we've talked about that, and retention policies are very, very important for schools. A good electronic content management system or electronic document management system will allow you to set retention schedules for certain types of documents or certain dates of entry of documents so that you do not have the liability of having something in your system that is 12 years past its due date and the exposure for that is there. With retention policies put in place, when something hits the end of its lifespan, you will be given the opportunity to go ahead and delete it, keep it, or choose to export it. This is one of my favorite slides, and it shows literally almost 250,000 pages scattered all over an office on the left-hand side. And on the right-hand side, everything is available within that little bitty laptop screen. That's amazing. And that's something that really does make life better for people. Outsourcing. Outsourcing can be done through our company or through another qualified vendor, of course. It can be done cheaper, faster than doing it in-house. Actually purchasing scanners, maintaining those scanners, setting those scanners up and keeping the consumables replaced within them, training staff on how to use them, training staff on the scanning processes that are involved with production scanning software. That can consume a lot of time and it can certainly consume a tremendous amount of funding. This is something that we do all day, every day. And we have the machines and the trained staff to be able to handle this so that your staff does not need to become experts in electronic document management. Another thing too is if you have, say, 2 people dedicated to scanning within your organization and one person is on leave, out due to illness, whatever the case may be, personal time off, your scanning capability is reduced by 50%. In our case, we have resources that we can dedicate to keep the same production levels going regardless. Okay. Then we can, of course, eliminate all of those costs of supporting everything that needs to be supported with the on-site or on-premise scanning.
Joe,
Yes, ma'am.
a question came in. What happens to the files after they're scanned?
After the files are scanned, they're digitized. You mean the paper files? I'm sorry.
Yes, the
Is
paper
that what the
files, right.
person was speaking about? Okay. There are generally 3 choices with that. The files can be returned to the organization. The files can be put into a long-term off-site storage, which would be a secure storage. Or what is most usually chosen is after review and after audit by the customer, the files are securely shredded and destroyed with certificate of destruction.
Okay, great.
Okay. Yes, ma'am. As long as the paper originals exist, those are the originals, whether they're in storage here or in Hawaii. They are the originals and must be presented in terms of, say, litigation. As long as they are scanned with a reputable or an identifiable process, then if the original paper documents are destroyed, then the scanned images do become the originals. Okay. Just a quick blurb on CASO. We have been around for over 20 years, quite the reputation. We are nationwide. Our main offices are in New York City, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and San Antonio, Texas, which is where I'm located. We do on-site projects, and we have large scan labs in each of our locations. We can, if the situation fits, set up on-site at an organization's office and do the scanning there. Okay? There are, of course, associated costs with that. We have the latest in software and in scanners. We use the best equipment we can get our hands on, of course, because these are our tools that we use to make a living. We use Digitex software. We use ECM Toolbox, OpenText, Abby, Panasonic, Kodak Alaris scanners. We kind of run the gamut as to best in breed or best in class for that. We actually even purchased a development house and have our own software solution for electronic document management. And of course, we have hundreds of customers over the years in banking, government, education, across the board. Now, this shows just a couple of the things we've done on site. A few of these things have been giant situations where we've gone into universities, hospitals, and set up scanning labs within their organization's facilities on a temporary basis, gotten everything scanned, and then moved everything back out when it's completed. Okay. What has been noticed a lot by our customers over the years are the savings. And here's one quote that I love from the Metropolitan Railroad Service in New York: $250,000 a year was saved just in real estate, 5,000 square feet of office space that was reclaimed. And in the past, I have actually cleared 3/4 of an entire floor of an office building for an insurance underwriter by just removing their file rooms. It was just no longer necessary. Saves a tremendous amount of money. These are costs that a lot of people don't consider that can be saved. Okay, just to go into the scanning process itself, this is where, for schools, for educational organizations, chain of custody is extremely important. This is absolutely part of the FERPA process or compliance with FERPA. When we pick up, we create a transmittal. Consider that an inventory. This is a count of the actual cartons or boxes of pages that we're going to take and scan, and then what is inside those. We create barcode levels and we load these into an inventory system that we have. Cartons are then sealed, they're transferred to our truck, moved by our employees. Okay. When the documents are received at our scan facility, and this is, of course, when I'm talking about our scan facility, I'm talking about our processes. These are things that you can look for with any qualified vendor in this situation. I'm just presenting them from the point of view of what I know on a day-to-day basis. So when the documents are received at the lab, of course, that inventory is transferred. Everything is changed in our inventory system. They are scanned and counted. Document staging and prep begins from there. Okay. Every single person who works for this company and for any vendor that you consider should be background screened, and all the facilities should be secure and monitored. We do not have a storefront where someone can walk in and say, "Hi, I have 2 architectural drawings I need to have scanned." We are not set up for that. We have all locked doors, everything's monitored. Very, very secure facilities, because we have information within these facilities that is, of course, private or privileged information and must not be exposed at any point in time. Here's a little workflow. This goes through, we bring in the records. The records, I'm sorry, this starts at the let's say the school or the district's main center. The records are packed in these cartons, a little bitty. We all call them bankers boxes, the ones you get from Office Depot. Okay, then they're brought into the lab. They are run through a prep process where we remove all the staples, paper clips, binder clips, things like that. Run those through the scan. Those hit an image quality control process. Then we go into data entry. Data entry is where, of course, we label these documents, and this is extremely important. Then we go through a QC process on that. Then there's a final QC where a supervisor takes a look at everything, does some random polls throughout the work that has been completed, and makes sure that it is exactly right, paper versus image versus indexing. Okay. Then we have where the records are returned or destroyed. And of course, we deliver them through a secure process on an FTP site. The site is put up. The customer, the client, or the school, the district are the only people who have access to this. It's very tightly controlled through credentials. They enter their login and password, go in. Generally, things are downloaded from there to the facility's storage, and either they go into an electronic content management system, or they go out onto the network into a secure storage folder. Okay. Now, when it comes to high-speed scanners, we use equipment that goes, 90 pages a minute, 120 pages a minute. We have a tremendous amount of heavy-duty machinery that we use for this that requires um, daily maintenance, requires monthly maintenance, has a tremendous amount of parts that need to be kept up with. Okay, this is production equipment, not a desktop type situation. As you can see with the context scanner, this is for, say, large architectural drawings. Many school districts are having us scan architectural drawings, plans for refurbs and builds. Microfilm, microfiche, the old aperture cards. We can handle getting those digitized for you. There, we are still having calls come in from districts that have some of this older uh, storage method, and film is in danger. If it is not stored correctly, there's this crazy thing called vinegar syndrome that can hit where film actually starts to rot. And the odd thing is that it literally smells like vinegar when you pull the film reels out to view them when that is starting to take place. I first heard of this with actually, we've been losing a lot of Hollywood movies over the years. The older movies were actually getting vinegar syndrome. Book scanning. We have a book scanner in our New York office that is about as big as a Volkswagen, and it costs about as much as a house, this thing. And it will actually scan a book without removing the spine. And it's an amazing piece of equipment. And it flips the pages. It corrects for the curvature on the insides of the pages. And this can be handled for us. Now, as far as labeling records, what I'm concerned with here is student records. And generally, what we do is we will follow, and this is what anybody should do, a student ID. We're always looking for a unique identifier. In some cases, we found this was a social security number in some public school districts. Whatever the universal or the unique identifier is for this student's records, that's what we use as our primary index. And then we will follow with the student's first name and the last name. Now, of course, from there, we can do things like add a document type. These are their cumulative files. These are their immunization records. These are things that we need to add in as a document type. What that will do is allow for a much more fine-grained search for your staff when they're pulling these records back up. Of course, and I mentioned all different departments can make use of this. Accounts payable is a tremendous volume user of electronic content management. Okay, medical files, HR files, of course, are huge within educational market. Now, once they're scanned, there are of course several different options. We can actually create PDFs, okay, which is kind of the de facto standard for documents nowadays. And PDFs can be run through an optical character recognition or OCR process in which all the text is available as search fields. So I can actually put these out into, have my IT department put these out into a secure folder on the network for storage or wherever our storage is, be it cloud-based, that's fine. And we can actually do a search for these based upon the name, the say the, in this case the student ID number, or text that's within that document. Option number two is if you already have an ECM system, something like FileNet, PaperVision, Laserfish, anything else, we can load those right up into there. and we will give you the indexes to go with them so that everything's searchable from on an immediate basis. Then we have, of course, the Easy File system that we own, that is CASO's own product, and we can load those directly on. Just to talk about Easy File for a second. It is, of course, fully featured, has all the features of systems costing literally 10 to 20 times the amount. As far as what you can do with the documents, annotations, emailing, printing, security controls, and everything can be done through a browser. You do not need to download any special tools or applications to a machine to get anything done on this system. It is either cloud-based or on-premise. We can install this on a server if you wish at your organization's headquarters, or we can host it in the cloud. It is, of course, subscription-based, and there is no need to purchase any software. Okay, there are no yearly maintenance costs. Unlimited users. This system can handle 1,000 users, no problem. Access from anywhere via browser, maintaining the same exact security as if you were in your office at your desk. Okay, and of course our storage is reliable. It's redundant. We use Microsoft Azure in multiple locations, so this will not go down and will not disappear. Now, how much does all this cost? Well, we'll work to estimate the number of images and documents. We have a lot of metrics that we use. Just for example, the standard little banker's box, the cardboard boxes that we all go buy from Office Depot, those hold about 2,500 pages within one of those boxes when it's full, and there's quite a few manila folders in there. Okay. These metrics help us get a good handle on things. Okay. Uh, we determine the best way to file and the best way to index, in other words. And how we do that is we take the way that your staff looks for them right now, and we just look to replicate that and then see if there are any improvements that we can do, like maybe adding a document type here and there, okay, that will help them dial down their searches and just retrieve things even faster. Okay. When things are priced out, this should be done by number of images and the actual number of documents. So pages and then folders, right? And then the condition of those documents. Are they loaded up with staples? Are they top bound? Are there things that in order to get these through scanners are going to have to be, say, taped up to other pieces of paper? Or are there tears and rips that we're going to have to repair to get those through the scanner? These are things that determine the pricing. Okay. As far as the amount of time that everything takes, you've got about 15 to 20,000 pages per day that we can get through one of our high-speed production scanners. So we could roughly base things on that. Okay. Main thing to mention is you only pay for what is scanned. And please make sure when you're looking for quotes from qualified vendors in this that you are dealing with estimates and not hard quotes, not box pricing, and not a situation where you're paying more than for what you've actually had scanned. Okay, we have actual page counts that are put into place for the billing. Okay, so just to go through things very quickly, um, we covered the FERPA compliance, the benefits of outsourcing the scanning. We talked a little bit about CASO and what we do. And what we do should be the equivalent of what you're looking for with any vendor in this case. Some of the details, document management itself. Okay. Next steps, if you want to, you can give us a call and we'll talk over, what your particular needs are. We'll put together a proposal or a statement of work for you, get our planning in place, and then we'll say goodbye to paper. And after that, it's a search and click instead of running and grabbing something. And then, of course, you get to be the person who got rid of all those doggone file cabinets and became a hero in the organization. Okay. And with that, are there any final questions?
Another question came in. What happens? How is the digitized files delivered to the client?
Okay. What we do on that, our standard operating procedure is the most secure and fast way to do it, which is through a secure file transfer protocol site or SFTP site. That's the site I mentioned a little earlier very quickly, where it's a temporary site that is put up. The files are delivered to the client, and after they're pulled down and verified, then the site itself is taken down. So it's a temporary delivery system, secure through the internet, and of course everything is covered by logins, and it's totally safe. The other way to do things is we can deliver on physical media if desired. We can give you a hard drive, USB key drive, whatever your organization is set up to do or requires us to do, we will do that. SFTP is just cheaper. In fact, we do not charge extra for that than the hard drives. And of course, you can't lose that SFTP site, but a USB key drive can get put in a drawer somewhere, and we can't remember where it is. So that's why we've kind of moved towards delivering these things on a faster basis, cheaper basis, and more secure. But we will do whatever the client needs in this situation. We have a couple of districts, school districts, where we are still giving them hard drives with every scan. Okay. Okay, so if there are no other questions, there's my contact info up there on the screen. And if you want to talk about anything, related to document management, scanning of files, security, things like that, just please get a hold of me, and we will do our absolute best to help you out. Okay. All right. Well, I want to thank everybody for attending today, and of course, any questions, feel free. And I hope you all have a wonderful day.
Interested in what CASO can do for you? Subscribe to our channel now and check out these videos.